Olivia Fernandez Bernabe. I'm the co-founder of Syzygy, and I started the business way back in 1996, actually, when I first saw this. So, how many years is that? It's going 24 years. And it's really been quite a journey. As you can see, if you've been attending our webinars, we are more excited than today than we were when we started 23, 24 years ago. And the reason I'm going to do the foundations training is to go over the basics of the business, which some of you who've been around quite a while, you know this by heart, but we just need to keep on going through the basics and reminding ourselves of how simple the business is. And for those of you who are attending for the first time, I think you're going to find out that our business, obvious as it looks like, is not obvious. The more you try to learn and attend our 8 p.m. habit, and especially our foundations training, you're going to realize and discover a major paradigm shift. And I sometimes you get it quickly, and sometimes it takes time. But for me, it was like peeling an onion little by little and discovering new things about this business, which I never imagined and never realized when I started in 1996. Now, I just like to start very quickly with the end in mind. What are we trying to do every 8 p.m.? We're actually searching for people. We are on an executive search, if you will, looking for people who have that kind of profile. They're similar to us in the way that they have a strong desire for something to change in their lives. And here's the good news. It's 100% predictable that we're going to find them if you learn what I teach you. And the bad news is it's not easy to find them. Nothing of value is easy. But the business is truly, truly 100% predictable. My upline, Mike Wilson, has been around for 40 plus years, and he can tell you this. It is totally predictable. If I were to hold a pen right now and release it, it's 100% predictable that the pen is going to fall to the floor. Am I right? There is no possibility that the pen is going to float in the air. In the same manner, if you were to try to shoot a ringless shot in basketball, even if you've never done it before, and even if you don't play basketball at all, if you try hard enough and consistently enough and long enough, 100% predictable, you are going to be able to make that ringless shot. If you've never played baseball before, I tried, the whatever you call that, girls only, and you didn't know how to do it, you had no skill about it, and you would have made perhaps countless of tries and errors, but 100% predictable if you tried hard enough and consistently enough. There is no doubt in my mind and in anybody's mind that you're going to hit a home run. Okay. So that's how certain we are about building this business. We are looking for a few people who are looking for us. It is a search. And again, the rewards are phenomenal. You heard about the money. The money's real. The travel is real. The personal growth is real. The financial independence this business brings is real. I was never really equipped to be good in this business, but you know what? I'm a good student, and I learned these foundations from my mentors. And there was something very right with me. First of all, I was very teachable. So even if I didn't understand, I just followed. And so we're going to tell you, if some of these things you don't understand, just follow. Trust the system, because our system has a combination of hundreds of years of experience in success combined. We're not theorizing. We're not experimenting. We're not even hoping. We know that these principles work. Okay, and I'm going to talk to you about the first couple of steps that you need to build a business. There are going to be some steps. So tonight is only about making a list and inviting others. Next week, I'm going to continue the other elements of the foundation, which if you put to heart, you will get results and you will have predictable success, and you will be joining us in the different beaches of the world, in the different cities of the planet, all free of charge, financially independent. That's when, of course, all this pandemic is over. You can give your comments. I'll be asking Ryan. But after this session, again, I'd like to welcome everybody. We've got very, very new people, and we've got people who've been around. So we're going to address the very new people, because I'm not going to talk to people who are in the advanced group already. Again, for those of you who are advanced, this is a reminder. And again, we always go back to the basics. After this, we're going to break up in breakout rooms. And if you have any, for my group, and Ariel and Ambek will have their own breakout group. In my group, I'm going to open the floor to any questions or anything at all that confuses you. And please feel free to unmute yourself and ask the question. Again, start with the end in mind. We are working this business to create a lifestyle that is so uncommon that for many of you tonight, you just feel this is unbelievable. But for those of us who have reached certain levels of success, not because we're exceptional, but because we're good students and we applied some element of hard work, it's very real. Being in a pandemic today, in this environment, not being able to go out of the house, we don't go out of the house, we do everything at home online, and having an income stream that comes into our bank account every month, uninterrupted, in fact, even thriving and growing at this time, that's very, very real. So let's talk about the first thing. The asset you bring in your business is not the capital you have, the amount of money you have in the bank. It's not your talent, your education, your skill, your looks, your charisma. All these things are irrelevant. You're coming here with an asset, which we call your list. Okay. Now, here are some of the principles of making a list. First of all is write it down. Now, this seems like a very simple thing. Excuse me, but my list is over here somewhere. And what I do is I always tell people to write it down, write it down, write it down. But people don't. They think that, it's in my cell phone, it's in my head. And again, the minute you try to put something in your head, it doesn't feel like this is a real business. Because if this were a professional business, we would have an envelope where you have a list of people that you would like to invite in this business. That is the asset you bring. The bigger your list, the bigger the business. Now, everybody's got a list. If you look at your Facebook friends, you may have thousands, some even 2, 3, 4,000. I don't know the maximum number of names you have in Facebook. Now, you might say, that's my list, my Facebook, it doesn't work. You've got to physically, if you ask me, write it down in a piece of paper or keep it in some file. because you're going to keep on looking at that list every time and every day, because what we're going to do is we're going to teach you how to work that list every day. This is an everyday business. You don't do it every other day. You don't, if you ask me, again, from my experience, you don't do it when you feel like it or when you have the time. If this was going to pay you 1,000,000 pesos a year, how would you treat it? Write it down. Now, Network 21 is only asking for 100 names to begin with. Everyone is a candidate, but you want to be able to perhaps prioritize your first 100 names or even 200 names better, because, you know, you might just get rejected easily, and you're going to run out of names right away. So the first thing is write it down with a cell phone number, with a profession, if you don't really remember them. Ano bang profession ni ganito? Anong profession ni ganyan? Is he married? Is he single? Is he widowed? Or whatever. The number 2 principle is do not prejudge. Okay. What does that mean? Nobody is too successful for this business, and nobody is too shy. But you would like to actually do not prejudge, because you're going to miss out on very, very key people. This is how I prejudged. You know, I'll give you an example. We have a very active ABO. Of course, many of you know Dr. Ruel. And again, I was trying to expand my list and add more names, add more names, add more names. And Ryan, I asked Ryan, who do you know? Because Ryan actually runs a cancer support group. He volunteers for that in St. Luke's. So I told him, you know, you must know some people, and I don't know. So tell me who you know. And of course, he gave me some names, and nothing ever happened. Remember, the people who respond to this is a minority. It's a very, very small minority. You don't expect everybody to get this right away and embrace this. No. And he said, I know somebody who's taking up his MBA, so he must be busy. He's a successful surgical oncologist in St. Luke's. So he goes, so do we invite somebody like that? Well, Ryan was very new then, and that we were just starting to, you know, just go over his list. And he prejudged this person. And I said, well, what's his name? His name is Dr. Ruel Tolentino. Well, okay. Well, how well do you know him? Well, I hardly know him because I just met him once. We had an outing with a Corridor of Hope, and I was there and he was there. I said, you know what? Just ask. So do not prejudge, because we were about to chicken out of it. But I said, and this is my lesson in building my Amway business, when you feel like chickening out from making a call, make the call, extend the invitation, act. Don't chicken out, because I can tell you story after story after story that I could have chickened out. And again, I would not have found a leader like Dr. Ruel. So we called him up. Ryan introduced me, and I asked him, you know, Doc, we're putting a team together and we're working with doctors for business. I can't tell you everything on the phone, but would you be open to look at the business idea? I can send you some material. And I send him a book first. And the book I sent him was Slaying the Financial Dragon. It's actually a very small book, but oh my God, it talks to professionals and doctors and lawyers and big time executives. It's a very small book, and that started the relationship between us with Dr. Ruel. And he turns out to be somebody really looking and eager to learn. Do not prejudge. We forgot to put something here. Go peer and above. Go peer and above. Please insert that, because You just don't want to prejudge or invite anyone. Yes, the paper boy you can invite. Yes, the Uber driver maybe. Yes, the person selling taho, you might, not to look down on those people. But you see, you're building an organization. And what you're looking for is a leader in order for that organization to grow. You're not looking for someone to peddle excess or to sell LOC. You're looking for a leader. And according to John Maxwell, a leader has influence. And so you're looking for people who are highly successful. You're looking for people in the top of their careers. You're looking for professionals. You're looking for the bank manager. You're looking for the head of this, the head of that. You're looking for the most successful person in your class, your valedictorian. You're looking for, because if you sponsor people who are quality, I tell you, your organization is going to grow. An ordinary person may invite one or two, sponsor one or two, and that's great. But someone who has influence in one or two meetings, let's say we do a Zoom party with them to launch their business, can sponsor 20 if the person is influential. So do you want to go slow or do you want to go fast? Do you want to have a small business? Do you want to have a big business? It's totally up to you. Go peer and above. That is my lesson in 24 years. Write it down. Do not prejudge. Go peer and above. I did a startup earlier, and I talked about the Indonesian. This is a true story. Who's building the Amway business, and he actually um, owns oil wells. I was talking about this earlier, and his upline or people in his upline group started to ask him, why in the world are you building the Amway business when you already have oil wells? I mean, does it even make sense? You own oil wells. And he said, well, the answer is very simple. One day the oil in my wells is gonna dry up and my business will be over. But in the Amway business, people who are brushing their teeth, taking vitamins, cleaning their homes, shampooing their hair, that's never, ever going to change. Basic consumables, basic necessities are going to keep going no matter what. You know that today. These are essentials. In fact, they're even going to thrive even bigger. So do not prejudge. I can tell you story after story after story, and I don't have the time. Maybe when I sit with you one on one or I do more trainings, I can tell you other stories. Because if I prejudge these people and if I didn't put their name in a list, I would not be where I am today. Once again, when you feel the fear of trying to prospect or invite someone or put someone's name in a list, someone's already successful, and you feel the fear, do it. Do it. From my experience, whether they say yes or no, or whatever it is they say, you just get a customer. You know what? You're going to feel strong, empowered, because you know that you're ready to conquer your fear. That is a confidence building technique to keep on going out of your comfort zone and conquering your fear. And you will know in your heart of hearts, unless somebody stops you, and you're not going to let anybody stops you, you are going to be platinum, emerald, and diamond it's just a matter of time, because no one's going to stop you. If you understand what I'm saying, it's just powerful. Nobody can stop you from building an Amway business. It's totally in your hands. Going back to the list is you need to segment the list. Why? Because we're going to teach you to build multiple groups. You can't just have one group. You're not going to create any profitability there. You'd like to have a list of all your family on your father's side, and then on your mother's side, and then your office mates, then all your office mates, then all your high school classmates, and then all your grade school classmates, and then all your college friends, classmates, your batchmates, and then all your community friends and all your work friends or church friends, and you have this little segments, well, big segments is better. And when you sponsor them in one group because they already have a common denominator, and it's easier for the group to gel because they already have relationships in place. I mean, would you rather put strangers in a group that they don't know each other? Or would you have a group of all your common denominator are your friends from high school? So it's your choice. It's just better to segment those lists. And this is important when you write it down. Put family here, put community where I live, my neighbors, put this, put, so you physically write it down, and keep reviewing those lists every day. Remove names. Okay. That means that not everyone is going to be a yes when you invite them. So after, when you're working a list, please do not make a habit of skipping names. Who shall I call first? Oh, this one. Okay. And then this one, well, I'm still a little afraid, and maybe I'll just postpone it. If you want to challenge yourself, I mean, you can do anything you want. Me, I'm always challenging myself to just do it. Don't skip. Just work the names. Work. And if they say no, then remove the names. Don't keep making clip, going back and back and back and back, and until they're so turned off because you won't take a no. Now, I'm not, some leaders will say you have to ask 7 times, just like Robert Angkasa. It's up to you. It depends on how close you are with the person. But me, as a rule of thumb, I will remove their names after about 3 attempts. For example, they say no, or they well, if they say no straight away, they're not open, then I just remove the name and put it in a list that I'm going to go back to maybe after a year, because I'm not going to keep going back for someone who said no already from the invitation. But I will go back after a year. Maybe I would say after a year, you know what, you can't believe what has happened. You know, this pandemic has opened new doors, and now it's technology, and the business is totally unrecognizable than what it was in July of 2020. You need to see it. So, but you need to work the name. Some people, they might tell you, you know, I'm busy right now, so get back to me. So you make a note of that, get back. Or some people might give you excuses and say they're going to attend, but they never attend. Then go back. You know, tell them, I was expecting you to attend the webinar. I was expecting we could have a chat. Can we reschedule that? Or if they keep on rejecting you 2 or 3 times, you know, maybe on the third time, I'm just going to give them a rest. So don't keep, you know, you need to remove the names, but you can put them in another list that you're going to get back after 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, because you know what? Circumstances change. I have a famous story of my Dr. Platinum from Cebu, who actually rejected the business so much. They were just interested in buying garlic, and they actually signed up just to get garlic. They were crazy about the garlic, and they just rejected it all the time. But one time, they were dragged to attend a business building seminar, which I was doing in Cebu. That's a monthly event that we do live, which has now been changed to the N21 Connect, which happens as a live stream once a month. And after that, after they attended the BBS, they caught a different vision. And long story short, this doctor couple becomes a platinum of ours in Cebu. Imagine. So always go back. You never know as people change. And I don't know about you, how willing you are. I said for me, it's 2, 3 times. But since you're eliminating names, you also keep adding names, keep adding names, keep adding names. What do I mean? Making new friends, prospecting, adding names. Now, it was a different kind of prospecting in the past. Okay, things have changed. Meaning, I would go to events where, I've been around like 24 years. Practically everybody I know knows I'm in Amway. So I cannot approach them normally like I would, which I will teach you in a bit, the invitation, because people already know I'm in Amway. Now, if I'm going to add new names, I'd like to add new, fresh names of people who don't know I'm in Amway and there's no baggage about it. And so I need to go to places where I can meet new people. And that was very intentional, it was very deliberate. For example, this was before the pandemic. We joined the gym, a new gym. Well, not very new anyway, but I made some friends in that gym. So I added new names. I sponsored some trainer there, and my husband has events in his industry. He's in the industrial construction industry, Frank, and this is an industry that I totally don't know anybody. Okay, so every time they have an event, I go and I sit with people in the table and we exchange cards. See, so I'm making friends. I'm making friends. I'm adding names. Okay, and every time there's a cocktail party of some sort, and I join. And fortunately, his company, his family corporation, is actually very, very active with the Canadian Chamber of Commerce and with some big associations. I've made some friends. And I keep on collecting the names, and I've even invited and prospected some of them. And what's exciting about meeting people is that there are the people in your list might be as big as this room if you know everybody, but the people you have yet to meet in the Philippines and all over the world is as big as the whole world. It's totally unlimited. So we're never going to run out of names, but you need to get good at prospecting. Now, there are no social events anymore. There are no gatherings, weddings, and reunions, and God forbid, wakes that we can go to, because you actually meet people everywhere. And what do? Well, you could go to Facebook. That's what I do. And I look at my friend requests, and I have a lot. Now I have a thing with accepting friend requests, because if I don't know them and if we don't really have strong common friends, I don't personally, I don't want to accept them. So I have to be very careful also who I accept. I'm not just accepting anybody. I would we are using now LinkedIn with Ryan. Ryan is more into LinkedIn, creating that professional image and, connecting with people on a professional level. I'm also using the cell phone of my husband because he's got friends too. He's with Knights of Columbus. He's with the the Eucharistic ministry of the parish. So he knows people I don't know. I've sponsored some people there too from his list. And I'm trying to just connect more through technology, which is Facebook, LinkedIn, uh, and Ryan would be able to know more. But then we need to keep adding names, keep on adding names. You know, you will never run out of names, actually. but you will run out of courage. So don't let that courage run out, because you need to be able to replenish your list, because it is the number one asset. This is what happens for many people who try to build this business. They put 10 to 20 names down, or maybe they don't even write it down. Remember, you're trying to create initially a million peso additional income, or let's be conservative, 50, 75,000 income a year, a month. Okay, that's what you're trying to do. Okay, that's what you're trying to do in the next year or two. And it's not going to be like take you that long. You could make 10,000, you could make 20,000, 30,000, and grow to 50 to 75,000. Okay, now that is a predictable end result. But you know what? You just need to work that list and write it down. Do not prejudge, and keep adding names. Keep adding names. This is so important, because if you have 5 names, 10 names, 20 names, sabi mo 20 names, and the first 8 people reject you, what's your thinking? Oh, this business isn't working because I've talked to 8 people and they all rejected me. Or let's say you had 10 names and 8 people rejected you. So what does that mean? Oh my God, I only have 2 more. This business isn't going to work. You see that self-talk? So it's important to talk to your upline, because they have more experience and they're going to chuckle about that, because that's the way Amway works. Listen to the diamonds. They went through 30 rejections, 40 rejections, 50 rejections. Listen to the story of Ray Keller, where he, in his small town where he grew up with everybody, he set up a meeting, and he invited everybody by mouth, by talking to them, word of mouth, by inviting them personally, by giving them invitations. I think he invited everybody he grew up with in that town, small town. Where's Ray Keller from? Wiener,
Arkansas.
Wiener, Arkansas. Everybody knows everybody. And he bought a lot of donuts or snacks, and he bought these big electric fans to make sure everybody was comfortable. And he put so many chairs out there. And guess what? Not a single soul came. You might say, oh my God, how can that be true? It's true. It's a story. Today he's a diamond. He owns so much property. He's financially well. He's financially independent. Now, I'm not saying you're going to go through this experience. I'm just trying to manage your expectation that if you start with 20 names and people start to reject you, hey, I'm sorry, but that's kind of funny, because that's expected. People are going to say no. How serious are you about achieving your additional income? How serious are you about building a business and creating that financial independence? This business pays well, but there are some principles that work and don't work. That's why we teach you. And the reality is, this is a business of numbers and numbers and numbers. You can't get 2 or 3 rejections and say it doesn't work. So let's go on. Inviting is the next step. And again, during the breakout session, if there are any comments and any questions, that's a time that we can chat. And the next step I want to talk to you about is the invitation. Again, the invitation is a critical step. Now you're going to invite. May I introduce to you a very important time blocking. Time block when in your busy day, okay, you're in lockdown, you're working at home, and you have so many things to do at home. I'm very busy at home too. But you've got to set a time to look at your list, and the next step is to invite them. Okay, there are a number of things you can do, but the most important thing is to allocate, let's say, 11 to 12 to work my list. And nothing is going to uh, interfere with my 11 to 12, because that particular time is dedicated for my financial future. It's for my Amway business. Unless we dedicate a time, we discipline ourselves, okay, we're not going to find the time, because what's going to happen is I need to do this errand, I need to do that errand, I need to maybe prepare the food, I need to clean the house a bit, I need to call some clients for my other business, I need to do this and do that, and then we run out of time. But if we block 1 hour, even just 30 minutes, better 1 hour a day, to work your Amway business, then you're going to see results. Because, it's very easy to get distracted. It's very easy to join the Amway business. It's also very easy to fall out of the Amway business. And few people have that discipline. And that's why few people actually move up to the exciting levels. So how do you invite? You can invite by text, or you can invite by calling, okay? Whatever works for you. I invite by texting, because sometimes I don't like to intrude people with a phone call, unless, of course, I'm speaking with them. But most of the time, I qualify them with a text. Your choice. If you think that person is very close to you, you can call, and calling is more personal. It can be powerful, or you text. Now, I'm going to show you some approaches, okay? One is the business approach. The advantage of texting is that you're not too, rattled or terrified by a live call, because you can always be questioned, and you can go back to your upline and ask them, what do I say? Because they're asking me this question, and what do I do? And you're not pressured to be able to have the answer at the moment you make the call. So the business approach, I'm expanding an e-commerce business right now, a digital business. I'm trying to identify key partners, shot in the dark. I thought of you. Would you like to sit in a Zoom meeting we're doing to cover the details of this? So you're asking if they're looking for a business. The simpler your question, the better. The longer your question, the more skeptical they become. What are you talking about? Why are you, it sounds like you're trying to convince. The more information you give on the phone, the more likely they're not going to come out. You have to keep them curious with the business approach, okay? The simpler, I have a platinum organization, and Titus is on the webinar tonight. And for those in his group, I think you know, or if you're new, you don't. You know how Titus was invited by his upline, June Malakaman, is also on the webinar. June just saw him, and June just asked him one simple question. Titus, naghahanap ka ba ng business? And Titus said, yes. This sumama ka sa akin because I'm attending an information session on, naghahanap ka ba ng business? It's that simple. The more words you put, the more complicated it gets, the more it doesn't sound like you, the more fearful the prospect gets. Okay, this is a scripted thing, and what is this all about? And another approach is the product approach. Now, I don't normally approach people with product, because I'm not looking for someone to sell product to. I will approach product if you talk to me about something that's related to product. For example, uh, I, I I put an ad on my, I don't know if it's my Facebook or what, or someplace. I put a picture about excess, and my neighbor called me up and said, Olive, you're selling energy drinks. My mom likes energy drinks. Okay, so can I order? You know, I didn't have to invite. That's not even an invitation, but it's obviously a product approach. I mean, they approached me for product, and I said, of course. And I've been servicing them for excess. They're my neighbors over here, next street. And the next thing I'm going to say is, you know, if you like excess a lot, they've got 3 orders already, 4 orders. You know what? Why don't you just sign up? I'll teach you how to order directly, and you can get the points and blah blah blah. People will approach you like, do you know vitamins? I need good vitamins for my immune system. Do you have a good supplier, a good source of vitamin C? Which is why it's important to attend the Amway trainings, you guys, so you can understand and speak. Like, for example, I attended the traceability talk yesterday of Amway, and 23 years, I learned a lot about Neutralite again. Okay, I let my husband watch so he can talk about product, because he likes to do product approach. He's always edifying Neutralite, and so he was educated with that, like 40-minute meeting with Amway yesterday on product. People might approach you, and or you might see someone with you know, not good skin, dark spots, and you might say, you know what, I have a good skincare system for you. It's 100% 100 day money back guarantee. Would you want to try it? So you, if you're comfortable with product, go ahead. From my experience, I do not approach people on product. Again, I'm not saying don't do it. I do not. I only bring up product when the need is very, very obvious. Oh, Olive, do you have any vitamins for kids? Do you know of any good vitamins for kids? Also, of course, I'm going to. Or do you have anything for high blood pressure? Of course, yeah, omega 3, garlic. That's what my husband takes. That's what I take, a ton of that. So surely, why would I ever try to talk about the business when they're just interested in product? Okay. The disadvantage of product is they don't really see the product, because if they start and end with a product they like, they don't see the business opportunity, which is actually the product of Amway. Amway's product is business opportunity. It's not a product. It's not the vitamin C. Just like, for example, McDonald's. McDonald's product looks like hamburgers. But that's not how McDonald's grows. McDonald's grows because of franchising. They have a business opportunity where an owner can own a business of his own, and can get predictable results. We're interested in finding owners of businesses, not products. Oh, another thing is, when you invite them and they're not interested in the business, you can always talk to them about product. You know what? Not everyone's interested in the business, but the product, maybe you'd like to look at our multivitamins. You'd like to look at our meal replacement. Maybe you'd like to listen to our talk on Sunday. It's about intermittent fasting and keeping fit, less fat, and feeling really good. So you can make them into product the minute they say no to the business. And if somebody would, like this girl who's ordering excess from me, or my neighbor who's ordering, several of my neighbors are ordering vitamin C from me, what I can tell them is, you know what, I'm going to show you a way that you can make a 3% discount, 6%, even 21% discount. Would you like that, to see how you can have discount on product? And who would say no? Oh, yeah, how could I get a discount on this energy drink, on this vitamin? Well, there's going to be a bouncing forward event on Friday, tomorrow. And why don't you sit in so you understand how you can save money? And if you're not interested in the business, just look lang how you can save money. So I get them to attend anyway. And if they say no, then no. I mean, hey, I don't feel bad about it. Next. So there's another way you invite. It's who do you know? Now this is usually for people that we're pretty chicken about, and meaning we're afraid. And they're president of the company, they're head of this huge organization, and blah 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 blah. And the way we do it is, you know, boss, or bank manager, or wherever you're intimidated about, you just ask them, I'm expanding a digital commerce business, and you might know of someone who's looking for an opportunity right now. No promises. So who do you know? That's the who do you know approach, because you're afraid to directly approach them. And the way you do that is just ask a question. You're having a conversation, and what's this all about? I'm looking, the person says. So voila, congratulations, you got a yes. And then you can invite them to see the business. Now that's going to follow later on. Now there are other approaches, but I just like to try to wrap this up early, because we're going to do this again next week. We're going to continue. The dream approach is the most powerful approach you can ever expect. And how do you know the dream approach? How do you know how to approach? You have to know what their dream is, what their burn is. How do you know what is the dream or burn of a person? By asking them. Text somebody, oh, kamusta ka na? How are things? Oh, not too good. Bakit? What happened? Oh, my husband, lost 50% of his income, and things aren't looking too good right now. Now, you don't call it a dream, you call it a nightmare. And that's even more powerful. So now you know, oh, two kids, husband's income is cut in half, and you're a full-time mom. You know what? I can't promise anything, but I'm thinking of you now because of what you told me about your husband, and I can't promise anything, but I'm going to invite you to sit in on a talk on digital commerce and owning your own business, how to work from home, and let me know what you think. Would you want the link? See? So it's easier to approach people based on what they want, based on what they are telling you their pain is, because a lot of people are going through pain. Maybe not dream, but you might say the dream/pain approach. Okay, so people are saying, you know what, I've got this debt. Okay, I can't promise anything. You talked to me about the debt, and I thought of you because of what you said. Sit into this. It may, or I don't know if it's going to be for you. And another would be maybe you know what, I'd like to keep my kid in this good school, but the tuition's too much now. If only I found a way. Hey, you know what, I can't promise anything, but I'm studying a digital business right now, an online business that has a proven track record. I don't know if there's a fit for you, but I can give you the link. Would you sit in? If we do that every day, every day, every day, 100% predictable, you will find people. Open your mouth, ask questions. This is a search. We're not here to try to convince them. In fact, we're looking for people who are already convinced that they have a dream, they have pain, they want something more in their life. The money approach is like, what would you do with another 50,000 pesos a month if you could make it? Whoa, really? Well, that's a lot. I do this, I do that. So that's a way to open a conversation. What would you do with an additional 30,000 pesos a month? Oh, I pay the tuition of my kids. That will be an excellent solution to, paying for their tuition, their online education. And Again, the geography approach is another indirect approach. I'm expanding a business in the US. Who do you know? Oh, I know a lot of people in the US. Great. Can you sit into our digital commerce, Zoom meeting? I'm expanding a business in Cebu, in Davao, and you can use any kind of geography. And actually, it's true because you can expand in 100 plus markets all over the world, and Network 21 is in 35 to 40 countries. So you can. And that's one of the ways we were able to expand in Cebu. I asked people, and I'm going to Cebu, who do you know? Who do you know is in Cebu? So approach people with geography, and it creates curiosity. Now, I can't go through all the details right now. And next week, again, these are topics that take hours to discuss. We're just trying to give you a feel of these things. Next week, I'm going to be talking about reviewing this again and talking about how to show the plan and how to do a follow-up startup. Okay, and we will do it in an hour because I don't want to take too long. And right now, what I'd like to do with the help of Ryan is, Ryan, we're going to, Jonel has already prepared breakout rooms, and you can continue on with your leader. So please accept the invitation because we're going to break up into smaller rooms. Okay. So thank you and see you at the breakout group.